I suppose the main process is, okay, why is this interesting? Why is it interesting now? Who is it interesting to?
Okay.
So just because something's of interest to me doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be of interest to my readers.
Really wanted to understand, how do you have your writing process? Is there a particular daily word limit you set, or just trying to understand how do you put discipline into writing a piece by piece? And obviously writing a book is a different ball game. We're just talking about basic articles as well. How do you motivate yourself, and how do you go in the no distractions? I just want to understand what's your process like.
Well, that's a big challenge. I think for many writers,
Yeah.
It's a big challenge to do that. What's the process? Well, obviously it starts with having an idea. If you're writing an article, having an idea, pitching the idea. I suppose the main process is, okay, why is this interesting? Why is it interesting now? Who is it interesting to?
Okay.
So just because something's of interest to me doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be of interest to my readers. So
That's a good question. So why is it interesting now?
Why is it interesting right now?
Who is it interested for?
And why am I the person to write it?
Got it.
So those three things, I guess, are the main things to think about. In terms of discipline, I think we could probably all improve. I could certainly improve my own discipline. But what I try to do is to, obviously I have a deadline, I set myself deadlines. I spend a lot of time researching before I start writing, and then I just sit down and...
You try to nail it down in one go?
Well, if I'm doing an article, yeah.
So that's what you try to really just want to
and
get
I
it done.
try to get my notes on paper as quickly as I can after I've done my research.
So you first write cheat notes, like draft notes, and then you will start with a introduction and so on, right?
I'll have sort of an idea for the broad shape of the article, the things I'm going to cover, the people I've spoken to, the main themes that come out. But it's kind of an evolving thing, really. I'll start off with the idea, and then it will evolve after I've spoken to more people and I have more thoughts about it and read around the subject. So it's an evolving process.
What are the elements, for example, let's say you said people, right? So what are some elements that you really want in a story always, and like people, region, some names, I guess. I don't know, maybe, but you can, there are some 4 or 5 meat, I would say. There should be some real substance to it. Is there something that you must advise that this thing is a good idea to have in a story, otherwise it will be just shallow?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think that what makes an article really come to life is the people, because wine is really a people business. And without the personal stories, I think that most articles are quite flat. And so I want to really bring out the personalities of the people who I'm talking about, who make the wine.
Understood.
And that's what I find the most interesting, really. And very often the personality of the wine reflects the personality of the person who made it. Which I find quite interesting. But other things that I want to always bring out are a sense of where we've come from, where we're going in the future. So some sort of sense of what's the point of this story? Why am I telling it?
True.
Where's it going? What's likely to happen in the future, and where are we now? So it's a combination. It's kind of a storytelling exercise, really.
True. Do you plan a subject first, or you just write and then you come up with a subject after the story is done?
Well, actually what I find is that certainly at the moment I'm doing research, I'm doing more general research, and then certain themes will jump out which I think, oh, that's really interesting. I'm going to dive into that a little bit more. So it's more things that come to me as I'm doing more general research.